What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy, Frank, Finding Nemo, Warren, for boosting up your man the YB's pitiful coin situation. So, as promised, I've been telling you, man, for a hot minute that Dillian Whyte's so-called legal cases have all been defunct and haven't been real for the last 6 months. Yeah, now, bear in mind, people, I've delayed making this video just in case, in the 1% chance I was wrong, something came to fruition. Don't forget, people, what we know is, for months, Eddie Hearn said, oh, don't worry, in March, yeah, the arbitration's in March. March. Well, March has been gone. It's now April. Again, the fight was supposed to be in March as well, by the way, people. I remember at one point saying, oh, who knows, if it's not, who knows, the fight may be before the actual arbitration. So the point is, people, the fight is on April 23rd. So, if there's not some sort of decision now, it ain't coming. And throughout this video, the evidence you're going to see on your screen is going to support that. And I'm going to show you that Dillian Whyte don't have no active case that's going to come at all in the future. Now, I did a video the other day. Sporting Shitecons had an interview with Dean Whyte, aka Dillian Whyte's wife, and he even admitted, oh, I don't know anything about the arbitration and it's basically not going on. There's nothing going on there. So bear that in mind. We've got evidence from Team Whyte themselves admitting there's nothing going on. Now, I'm going to show you the actual paper evidence that shows there's nothing going on. And there's, better yet, there's been nothing going on. Now, the first piece of evidence, Exhibit 1. You'll see this here is a leaked document when basically, more or less, every case that's filed, unless it's sealed, yeah? Unless it's got some sort of secret sealing, it will be publicly available. Yeah, if you've got the right links, if you've got the right sources, you can find it. So anyway, what we know for a fact is, and these are the facts, people, this ain't no speculation, what we know for a fact is, Dillian Whyte filed his case on the 9th of September 2021. Yeah, petitioner, Dillian Whyte. Respondent, World Boxing Council. September 9th, 2021. In Florida. We've got the judges' names. We've got the cause of action. And then it goes through, you can read, you can go and find it yourself, you can read through all the woofing bits. But what's important here to note, the important part we need to focus on is the result and or the date timeline. And what's important here is look at the dates. So Dillian Whyte filed on the 9th, and the last update has been September 30th. And this is what I was telling you. Dillian Whyte hasn't followed this through. This case is dead. The whole of October, nothing. November, December, January, February, March. It's been 6 months since the most recent active update, which tells you the case is dead in the water. There's nothing been happening. And when you petition a case, for example, if Dillian Whyte had have been wanting to progress this, it's not the case that, oh well, the WBC hasn't responded, because if the WBC doesn't respond, you'd see updates on here with Dillian Whyte's team pursuing it. Do you understand? It would say something like, oh, respondent didn't reply, or obviously not in more legal terms, but do you understand? If Dillian Whyte, cases don't sit empty for 6 months. The only way that will happen is if the petitioner, for whatever reason, isn't following it through. Yeah, it's not the WBC's obligation to push it on. The case would only be pushed on if Team Whyte push it on. And clearly, since September 30th, nothing's been happening. And most likely what's happened is Dillian Whyte's D-level lawyer has no doubt been telling Dillian, yeah, there's loads of things going on. I'm going to bill you for loads of fees. Yeah, there's loads going on. There's super duper things going on. No doubt Dillian's been billed every week for the last 6 months for this active case he thinks is going on. Jeffrey Benz been billing him for work that ain't been done. Oops. This case ain't moved nowhere for 6 months, and the way Eddie Hearn and Team White have been woofing, talking about, the case is coming up, I think they believed it. I genuinely think Dillian Whyte and Eddie Hearn thought there was something going on. Jeffrey Benz has pulled a blinder here. He's probably racked up $1 million worth of fees, and the case ain't moved nowhere in 6 months. Oops. I don't think he knows what he's doing. That's what I think it comes down to. I don't think Benz has a clue what he's doing. And I mean, honestly, yeah, based on the actions Dillian Whyte's had, I wasn't sure he had a clue. But that Frank Warren interview, which, by the way, Eddie Hearn's even admitted, that as much as a shill Eddie Hearn is for Dillian Whyte, even he admitted that Benz looked bad. And as much as Eddie Hearn hates Frank Warren, even he admitted Frank Warren washed him. Which shows you how useless this guy is. Now, like I said, there's one of two things going on here. Either Dillian Whyte knows the case hasn't gone nowhere, but if that was why does Dillian Whyte keep gassing about, the arbitration, why does he keep doing that if he knows? Or Dillian Whyte ran out of money and doesn't want to tell the people, listen, I ain't got no coins left, ran out of money, only got paid 300 grand by Massa Hearn to fight Povetkin and can't afford to keep the case going. And that's what I told you. When cases don't go forward, it's because you ain't got no funds to keep it going, and or you're getting bumped by your lawyer, and or you've realised the merit, and or you've listened to the YB's video and realised the merits of your case are null and void. Because to be fair, it was around September when I started saying, you ain't got no case. Oops. Dillian Whyte hasn't got a case. They've given him the shot. Yeah? They've given him the shot. You got knocked out. You don't have no case. Take your shot and crack on like everyone else does. The case the WBC had to answer was when Deontay Wilder was reigning. And you genuinely had an unbeaten run where people like Dominic Brazil were overlooking your own position. That was when Dillian Whyte's case should have been filed. Not in September when he got the fight anyway. Don't make no sense. Not to mention the fact that Dillian Whyte's team were claiming that they want a bigger split, like as if it's something to do with Tyson Fury. Why would a judge or a court rule against... Why would a judge or a court rule to penalise Tyson Fury? Don't even make sense. And I made all these points clear, and then the case don't go forward. Now, I'm not saying it's anything to do with me, but all I'm saying is the case is dead. How about that? Oops. And the way Dillian Whyte's team carry on, one of two things, like I said, has happened. He's been bumped, and his lawyer's telling him, yeah, the case is going on. Much fees. Yes, send me much coin. I need much coin for all the fees of all this active case. And Jeffrey Ben's been sending them coins to some offshore location, stacking them up ready to check out. Yeah, because what you best believe, once Dillian Whyte gets knocked out, you won't see Benz no more. He will have stacked up a few million of Dillian's coins. Because the thing is, Jeffrey Benz will have been selling this to Dillian. Oh yeah, Dillian, don't worry. Yeah, Dillian, you might have to pay me 2 million, but I'm going to get you 10. That's what's been happening here, people. Jeffrey Benz, even Eddie Hearn started parroting the things Jeffrey Benz has told him. Eddie Hearn started saying, oh look, people, you got to remember that if 18% is 10 million, then 45% is 30 million, yeah. And that's the kind of thing Jeffrey Benz would have been putting in Dillian Whyte's mind. Oh yeah, Dillian, just think, if you're getting paid 8 million for 18%, if I can guarantee you I can get you 45%, because I'm from California, I'm a California lawyer, I'm a bigwig, and you heard these things. Benz was saying this in an interview to Frank. Oh, I do big cases. We do it different in big cases. We sign the contract first. Now I'm telling you, man, I've got some corporate experience. I don't know where they're doing that at. Signing things first and then thinking you're bigwig. No one do that. I'm telling you now. Not even D-level lawyers sign things first and then try and be smart about shit. Yeah? But again, Dillian Whyte don't know no better. Dillian Whyte was gassed up about the number. This happens often in hood dudes. Hood dudes, all they hear is the numbers. What, Jeffrey? You can get me 50 million rather than 8? Oh yeah. Rather than sitting down and thinking, wait there a minute, is that logical? How is this man going to get me something? Yeah, think about the process behind it. It's all well and good seeing the number. Oh, what's that? What's that, Jeffrey Benz? You're going to get me 30 million? Okay, no. Alright then, mate. And that's from Jeffrey Benz has played a blinder here, because from his point of view, he's told Dillian, yeah, Dillian, I'm going to get you 45%, which would be what? Well, 50% of 42 is 21, so it would be like 19 or 18. I'm going to get you 18 million, that's 10 million extra. So if you pay me, yeah, and he would have sold it. Listen, he would have told Dillian, it's all about investments. Yeah, you got to invest $1 million or $2 million in my legal fees, but on the back end, you're going to get 4 times that. You're going to get 10 million back. Oops. Yeah. All them fees gone straight into Ben's pocket, and the case ain't gone nowhere. Ben's laughing right now. He can't believe his luck. He can't believe, and don't forget as well, people, after the fight, what do we know's coming? We know Frank Warren's got a case coming for Dillian after. Again, Ben's is saying, don't worry, Dillian, don't turn up to the press conference. Great idea, great play. Yeah, don't worry, Dillian, I'll defend you. Yeah, I'm going to wrap Frank up and I'm going to get 10 million out of him. I'm guarantee you, when Dillian Whyte said, oh, you sure I shouldn't turn up to the press conference? Bearing in mind, I've been to every other press conference in my whole career. Oh, no, don't worry, after press conference, I'm a big California lawyer, and I'm going to, don't worry, I'll counter-sue, and I'll get 50 million out of Frank, yeah. That's what's happened here, 100%. There's no doubt about it. Now we've got that part of the way, I want to go to Exhibit 2. Exhibit 2, now, for all this time, the organisation we've heard, who's supposed to be hearing this case, is the Tribunal for Arbitration and Sport, or the Court of Arbitration and Sport. Now, you can go onto their website, and it's all public information, so it shows you a list of hearings, and it shows you all the hearings, all the cases they're seeing in the future. Yeah? So you can literally go on there and you see all the different football clubs and whatever else, all the different disputes in sport are on there. Guess what? Dillian Whyte is not on there. I was tracking this for months. It's not on there for February. It wasn't on there for January. It wasn't on there for February. It wasn't on there for March. It wasn't on there for April. It's not on there for April, as you can see on your screen. Now, why is that relevant? And this also, don't forget, people, all the media can see this as well, which explains why. Don't you think there should have been a date? If Dillian Whyte had a date, yeah, do you not think Eddie Hearn would have known the date? Eddie Hearn says, oh, there's a lot of things going on. Wait a minute. What, Eddie, what's the date? Oops. Yeah? Do you have a date or not? It's publicly available information. And that's why, guess what? For the last 6 months, all we've heard is things like, in March. Well, it should never be in March. It should be March 14th, we'll know. That's how things always work. Courts don't say in March. They say, you got a date, this is your date. Now, it might be delayed, it might be postponed, but you'll have a date. You'll always, I've said this before, in court, as far as courts go, you'll always have a date and or a deadline. It'll be like, well, the respondent has 30 days to reply. So you're always moving through some sort of timeline. You have a fixed date or you have a deadline. Always. Things aren't just left in fresh air. There's always something going on. But guess what? As far as Dillian Whyte's case gone, it ain't moved since September 30th. The case is defunct. It's as simple as that. Yeah? So, either way you look at it, whether Dillian Whyte knows there ain't no case going on, whether he's been bumped, I'm just doing this video to let you man know there's nothing going on. And I feel sorry for Chili and Shite Man fans, because you man have been kind of dying on this hill talking about, 45% and Dillian got arbitration and this, that, the other. And listen, if sporting icons, if Dillian Whyte's got an arbitration, ask him what the date was. That's what there's nothing confidential about that. Like I said, it's public information. There's absolutely nothing confidential about a date of a public court event. So when was it? Why is it none of it? I don't get it. If you we got all these. And that's the thing. Often these cats, yeah, they hide behind generic terms like, we've got a lot of legal things going on. What does that even mean? Do you have a case? If so, what is the date of the hearing of the case? Do you understand? That's how it should be, as simple as that. We've got a lot of legal things going on. What does that even mean? I don't get it. Yeah? And often you find for example, what do we know? Look at Deontay Wilder. When Deontay Wilder was suing Tyson Fury, we all had the date there. It was May 14th or something. And guess what? The date was there. It was on point. Yeah? Even when there was postponements and delays, it was always a date. You always knew. It was never just in the air and next thing you know, you ain't heard nothing about it for 6 months. 100%. Again, I remember when Andy Ruiz was playing games after he beat AJ. Eddie Hearn went to court and it was all wrapped up real quick. Yeah? This thing here, we should have known it was suspect. Things don't take 6 months to not move nowhere. It's been 6 months and it hasn't moved nowhere. It's been 6 months, yeah, and we haven't heard nothing about it. How is that possible, people? Things don't not move for 6 months. Especially at this level in sport. Especially when the fight's on April 23rd. It don't even make sense. So here we are. Facts are, categorically, Dillian Whyte does not have an arbitration case against the WBC. He does not have an active case. That's the facts. He don't. And if he does, I want to see some evidence of it. I had some melons say, oh, but YB, why is the WBC acknowledging they've got a case? When has the WBC acknowledged they've got a case with Dillian? The last I heard of it was September when the case was filed. In September, October, when the case was filed, the WBC came out and said, we've got a case. Since then, I haven't heard nothing. I haven't heard of the WBC saying, oh, we've lost a case or we've won a case. There's been nothing going, because there is nothing going on. That's what the facts say. If there was, we'd have seen it in the documents. We'd have seen the date and or we'd have seen the filings. Oops. So it's about time, in my opinion. I mean, Dean White gave it away the other day when he was waffling, oh, yeah? But rather than string your fans along, and that's who I feel sorry the most for, the white man fans. You get strung along with these narratives, get shown no evidence, but you still can't, oh, YB, the 45% is coming. Oh, he's going to get 45% and he's going to screw Frank over. But yet he can't even give you a date of when that so-called screwing over is meant to materialise. How is it this is the only case in history that don't have no dates in it? Don't have no dates, don't have no deadlines, and no one knows anything about it. Even White's own team. And we're now a week away from the fight and still no one knows anything about it. What kind of case is that? So wait there a minute. You think Dillian Whyte's potentially going to win 45% after the purses have been paid? Are you joking? This would have to be resolved beforehand. Yeah? 100%. Again, if Team White cared anything about their fans, they'd come out and said, listen, the case is dead in the water and or whatever. And that's what it is. People can forget about the whole thing, but it suits their position. It suits their position for people to have people believing that they've got some magical power coming in the back end. Oh, yeah, we got this super magical case coming. It's going to sort everything out. Yeah, we're going to ruin Tyson Fury and Frank Fish Eyes Warren. Odd dudes, super odd. 100%. So Dillian Whyte's been bumped and or I think Dillian Whyte's probably feeling it awkward. He doesn't want to admit that, you know what, we don't have a case and or we realised we haven't got no case, so we dropped it. That's what's happened, or he's been bumped. Either way, Dillian Whyte don't want to admit the truth. There ain't nothing going on. There ain't no hope as far as anything else goes. And that's why Dillian Whyte signed for 18%. You understand, people? If Dillian Whyte had some magical case coming, he wouldn't have signed. And that's what I said that. I said at the time, yeah, I didn't think Dillian Whyte would sign the contract because if he's got a court case coming up, he'd want to make sure he locks that in. Because once you've signed for 18%, it kind of... Once you've signed a new contract for 18%, how can you then... The arbitration thing don't really make sense. Legally speaking, if you had an arbitration, you'd wait for the arbitration result, get the result in, and then go from there. Once you've signed a new document saying you agree to fight for 18%, for a court to come in and then override what you've just signed for don't make no sense. It just doesn't. oh, well, you signed for 18% now, but we're going to give you 45. What? Don't make no sense. So there we are, anyway. Bottom line. Well, I've told you the bottom line, 100%.